Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. The present day NPA crisis of Indian banks, which is the bad loans given by banks which remain unresolved, has been a huge drag on the growth rate of the Indian economy. These NPAs have not been resolved despite a number of measures being mooted and also adopted by the government. But notwithstanding that, the NPAs are there, they continue to mount. The backlog has not been cleared and fresh ones keep surfacing. Till these NPAs, till this crisis is not resolved, there will be a huge drag on the growth of the Indian economy and it is imperative to resolve it. From time to time, measures have been mooted and one of them has been to create a bad bank. This proposal has been revived all over again. Let's look at the history of the NPAs and the history of the bad bank proposal and see whether that really is a solution to India's present NPA problem. Public sector banks in India are owned by the government of India, and because they are owned by the government, public sector banks have been meddled into by politicians, babus, and the cronies of both of them. It has created a culture of lend and let go, and because of that, NPAs have been a norm for these banks. Cronies of the system have benefited in a big manner, along with the babu, the neta, the banker, and the baniya. It has been a nexus of corruption, it has been a nexus of gross negligence, it has been a case of hiding the NPAs that were there, and it has been a case of negligent, reckless lending, of course, for a consideration, whether for money or for other terms. It is this nexus which has created NPAs in India's banking system from time to time. And the standard rigmarole has been that NPAs get created, banks get bankrupt, they are recapitalized, and everything goes good again till yet another round of NPAs gets generated. The one who suffers is the taxpayer. Because whenever banks are recapitalized, it is taxpayer money which is pumped into the system. And what we see is, with very predictable regularity, after some time, the capital is washed away again in yet another saga, yet another round of NPAs. Between 2006 to 2016, for example, almost 1.2 lakh crores of tax money was put into banks by way of recapitalization. And then, in the last 3 years, another 3 lakh crores has been pumped in by the government into banks in order to revive them. There were about 14 bankrupt banks out of the 21 public sector banks in India. Thus, money keeps being pumped into the banks. It's valuable taxpayer money. An unconfirmed report says that in the past 15 years, the government has pumped in about 10 lakh crores in order to revive banks, in order to replenish that capital which has been lost in bad loans. And as we said, the beneficiaries have been the netas, the babus, the banker, the baniya, the cronies of the system. The journey of the present day NPAs, according to us, has been a combination of two factors. In the 2000s, in that decade, there was already a huge bunch of NPAs which had been hidden by way of restructuring. A bogus restructuring was going on under the name of CDR, SDR, S4A, etc. And that hid the crisis. But the NPAs were already there in the system. And then came the time of 2008 to 2013, when, in order to battle the 2008 global economic meltdown, the Indian government decided to go reckless in lending and pump money into the system. The system got awash with fresh loans, such that in this 5-year journey, loans by public sector banks shot up 3 times just in a matter of 3 years. These were cases of reckless lending, these were cases of corrupt lending. And what was the result? A mountain of NPAs. A mountain of NPAs which, according to us, exceeded 10 to 15 lakh crores, and it remained hidden. Bankers lent recklessly, and bankers also window dressed their accounts. With the help of auditors, regulator, etc., accounts were window dressed such that the reality never appeared. And the reality only surfaced in 2015 when the Reserve Bank of India under Raghuram Rajan conducted the asset quality review on banks. At that point of time, it became imperative that gigantic Amounts of NPAs had been hidden and provisioning had not been done. In other words, banks had lost money but had not reported it. Here was a huge problem on hand. The government had thought that the Debt Recovery Tribunal was a solution to recovering NPAs, but in 2015-16 it was clear that DRTs had failed to deliver the purpose for which they were formed. And thus in 2017, the IBC was formed. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code at that point of time was mooted to be the cure-all as far as NPAs in India are concerned. Even the IBC has failed to deliver. It came with a mandate to resolve any NPA account within 270 days, but nothing like that happened. So while on one hand, the IBC, the NCLT failed to resolve NPA cases, which it was expected to do. On the other hand, a large amount of bad loans have not been recognized as NPAs by banks so far. Raghuram Rajan pointed out in his letter to Murli Manohar Joshi last year that at least 7 lakh crores of loans under the Mudra regime, the Mudra scheme, are in danger of being NPAs and they have not been recognized. Thus, a train of NPAs is pending to be recognized, and that is under the Mudra loans. Loans given to MSMEs, which have been postponed to be recognized as NPAs under the guidelines of the Reserve Bank of India, but they are bad. And now with the COVID lockdown, a huge surge in new NPAs is expected to surface. We are in a situation where, while we are not able to handle the past NPA backlog, new ones are getting created. The reality is that under the current structure, banks are just not in a position to resolve the NPA crisis that they face at the moment. And because of that, again, the proposal of floating what is called a bad bank has been mooted. This proposal has been doing rounds for the past few years. A couple of years ago, the then chairman of PNB had mooted setting up of a bad bank, and that's like a large or a big ARC, asset reconstruction company, to be owned by the government again. The proposal was that all toxic assets, all NPA accounts of banks must be transferred to this newly created body, a bad bank. And that would be a specialized body in order to then recover the loans given to all those defaulter borrowers. The proposal at that point of time, when it was mooted a couple of years ago, was not well timed. Politically, it was seen to be difficult to pass through, and thus it was ignored. But recently, the banks like SBI and ICICI Bank have again mooted the idea of a bad bank in order to resolve the NPA crisis. They say that many countries have also set up bad banks, and that is the way to resolve such a large, giant NPA crisis. They give the instance of UK, Ireland, EU nations, Japan, Indonesia, Sweden, etc. All of these nations, these banks say, had floated NPAs or asset reconstruction companies of some sort, and according to them, it helped to resolve the NPA crisis that those nations also faced at that point of time. The banks say that if a large ARC is set up as a bad bank, it will then help to take out the bad loans from the balance sheet of the banks and transfer it to the new bad bank, which will then be a specialized agency with specialized expertise in order to recover loans of these NPA accounts, because banks say that they neither have the expertise to do that and neither do they have the management bandwidth to look after the recovery of the bad loans. They contend that by doing that, they will be able to resume lending in a regular way, which today is held back because a lot of resources and attention goes of bankers in trying to recover NPA accounts. They have said that the government will need to be the sponsor of this large ARC, and for that, according to SBI, up to 50,000 crores of government money will need to be pumped in this bad bank so as to make it functional. As we said, it will be just like another big asset reconstruction company. The question is, how is this bad bank proposal going to really sort out the NPA crisis? How is it different? Because according to us, it is going to be the same banks, the same persons, the same resources, the same system, the same way of working. All that would be there is one basket of assets which is classified as NPAs has got transferred to a different entity. How does it really change that the banks justify the creation of another bad bank entity? For that matter, there are already 28 ARCs in the country. Why don't banks start giving their toxic assets to the ARCs themselves? Where is the need to make one more new organization with the same culture, the same manner of functioning, the same resources, and the same procedures to be followed? We are not really able to understand that. That needs to be justified. To us, the other reality is putting in additional 50,000 crores is going to be a waste of public money. It is the same system as we said. It is finally the same people who will manage it, and there has never been accountability in this system. We think that unless that is not clear, putting in another 50,000 crores of public resources is a sheer waste of taxpayer money. To us, in the present format, the way it is being mooted, it just looks to be another formation of an organization to pass the buck, to bury accountability, to absolve bankers in some way, because from the regular bank it would go to a bad bank and the trail of accountability will certainly be lost. In this entire journey of creation of NPAs, if the borrower was a willful defaulter, so was the banker a willful lender, and both need to be punished. And we think that accountability will get lost or erased somewhere if this kind of a proposal is put in this manner. All that will happen is toxic assets of banks, large bad loans which were deliberately, fraudulently, willfully given wrongly, they will get transferred, and it will be start of another chapter of this kind of lending perhaps by the banks all over again, as we have always witnessed in the past. And finally, even if you create a bad bank, it's going to function under the same laws, under the same judiciary. How is it going to change for the bad bank? How will the bad bank be able to push the likes of the NCLT, the IBC, and the DRT to expedite the resolution of the NPA accounts? It's going to be the same judiciary, which is slow, uncertain, expensive, and the same lawyers who tend to be obstructionists in these kind of matters. Thus, how does it really change? Because the final resolution of NPA accounts which are contentious does come from the judiciary, and there's no change being mooted in the judiciary, which according to us is the prime candidate in order to try to resolve matters. In order to recover NPA accounts, in order to resolve this crisis, the first thing that we need to do is to differentiate between the defaulters. While the willful defaulters need to be punished extremely harshly, and all those who colluded with them, including the banker, the auditor, the defaulter, the babu, the neta, whoever, they need a criminal punishment. While that is the way to resolve those NPA accounts. As far as genuine defaults are concerned, as far as bona fide defaults are concerned, those which happen because of a commercial judgment going bad of the banker and the borrower, these will need to be settled in a more civil way. They will need to be settled across the table by looking at the reality of the situation, by looking at what are the assets available and settle the matter. The next thing that we need to do is reform the judiciary. The judiciary needs to pull up its socks, otherwise any proposal to try to reform or resolve the NPA crisis is not going to work. The third is, according to us, we need a law which ensures that assets are seized and sold as soon as possible. We are witnessing a situation where assets get sealed with a lot of delay, they get seized with a lot of delay, and they get sold also with a lot of delay. And that only delays the recovery of NPA accounts. Further, like the case of the functioning of banks, even in the matter of recovery of NPA accounts, political and bureaucratic meddling continues. It needs to stop. Unless that is not stopped, the NPA crisis will not be resolved. And finally, we need to ensure that new ones are not created. And while all this is being done, bankers need to be told that enough recapitalization has taken place, enough public money has been wasted because of their wrongdoing deeds, and that in case further NPAs are created because of willful commitments, willful violations by the bankers, then there is going to be no further recapitalization, even if it means that the bank goes bankrupt and needs to be dissolved. Unless this is not done, the NPA crisis will not be resolved, and to us, it's an urgent matter. Till the NPA crisis is not resolved, the Indian economy's growth rate will continue to suffer. And in our opinion, in the manner in which a bad bank is being mooted, it is not the solution to the crisis. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
हमारे घरों में भी बच्चे होते हैं जो हमसे प्यार दुलार की आस करते हैं।
हमारा भी जीवन साथी है जिसको हमारे ड्यूटी से घर आने का इंतजार होता है।
हमारे घर में भी एक बूढ़ी माँ है जिनके लिए आज भी हम ही आंखों के तारे हैं।
लेकिन हम हमारे घरों में नहीं हैं। आपकी सुरक्षा में कोई कसर न रहे, इसलिए हम अपने प्रियजनों से दूर हैं।
हम में से ही कुछ तो अब इतने दूर जा चुके हैं कि वो वापस अपने घरों को लौट भी नहीं पाएंगे।
हमें गर्व है कि हमारे कंधों पे मुंबई शहर के नागरिकों की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी है। हमारे जज्बे और बलिदान को व्यर्थ न जाने दे। इस संकट के समय में आप घर पे रहे, सुरक्षित रहे।
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.